Hi there, this is Dave DeBow, publisher of Canadian Prophets, and we've got a different, unusual episode of Canadian Prophets TV for you this week. This is something that I filmed especially with my good friend Michael McLean out on his gorgeous property in Audie Lake in Ontario. It's a little longer than usual, but definitely well worth watching. So enjoy this video from Audie Lake. And Wagner, my main video editing guy, why don't you say hi to everybody? That's Wagner Cardoso, our main Canadian Prophets TV editor. So enjoy this week's episode of Canadian Prophets TV. Hi there, everyone. This is Dave DeBow, publisher of Canadian Prophets, here with my good friend and contributing writer to Canadian Business Prophets, Michael McLean. How are you doing today, Michael?
Well, I'm at the end of the dock, so I'm doing very, very well.
So here we are in beautiful Audie Lake, Ontario. Take a little look at this place. This is where Michael spends a lot of his time in the summer with his lovely wife Krista, her dog Avery. Pretty easy to get used to this place, man.
Absolutely. We're out here for about 4 to 5 months, off and on, depending upon the weather. A huge 85-foot internet tower over here. Yeah. Krista can show it. So we're able to be out here. It's the same as almost being in the office, which is about 7 or 8 minutes away. So who says you have to be chained to a desk?
Exactly right. All right, so I've had the pleasure of spending the last 3 weeks.
It seems like 3 or 4 weeks.
2.5 days here with Michael and Krista and Avery, and putting together helping Mike put together his first book. So that's a lot of fun. So we're going to do the whole episode for Canadian Prophets TV from here, from the end of the dock. We'll start off with our business breakthrough. And Michael, what I'd like to talk to you about is business systems, because out of everyone I know, you've probably got that pegged down better than anyone I know. So tell us a little bit about how you got involved with your family business, what it is, where it was, where it is today, thanks to systems.
Well, after a career in professional and amateur hockey, I actually owned my own junior A team. I had coached minor pro coming out of university. I did that for 7 years, almost 8 years, and then I joined the family business in 2002 when my dad was getting to retire. Returned to the small community of Perth, Ontario, and started working in the business. My dad had me learning every job from the front door to the back door, which was a big transition for me. After the 1 year, sat down with my mother and my father and said, this is what I want. This is the career I want. As an entrepreneur, I wanted something that's going to be exciting on a day-to-day basis. Jumped in with both feet in 2003, attaining ownership of McLean Insurance, which is the family business. About $3.4 million in premium size. Again, we're in a small town, 6,000 people, mostly home and car insurance. Today we're a little over 4 times that size, mainly attributed to direct response marketing, the type of stuff that you're always teaching to your students. We insure all over the province of Ontario. We're not limited any longer by territories or how far a person can drive. We're using technology to our advantage now. And systems and procedures, which you want to talk about today, is probably the second largest part of that next to the marketing.
So tell everybody a little bit. So you're a business owner in a small town here in Ontario. You've created a significant business. You've grown your family business, quadrupled it over the last few years, largely due to marketing, but also your systems are absolutely amazing. So first of all, just give everybody a little idea of what your typical work week consists of as far as going to the office.
Well, we're in a situation now, we've grown from 4 to actually 21 employees, so the bigger you get, the more systems are important. Without systems, there's no peace of mind and there's no control in business. You see business owners who start a business with the dream of freedom and control, and it quickly slips away from them because of the fact there's not systems in place. After reading the book, The E-Myth, and it's almost a McDonald's kind of thing, you're supposed to go into business, my father always said, go into the business with the assumption you're going to have 100 branches or you're going to have 200 branches. And when you take that mentality into your business, even though you're only a tiny 4-person business like we were in 2003, we started documenting systems. We made it a team-building event. And basically now we could have 5 offices, we could have 6 offices, we could have 200 offices. The systems and procedures give structure. People love it. And it gives you peace of mind and control as an entrepreneur. If a business owner out there is lacking control and lacking peace of mind, and you feel like you have a job, not a business, then I believe that one of the big things that's lacking is the systems and procedures. And we had a great time implementing them.
Now, that's great, but let's look at the big picture as well. What has that allowed you to do lifestyle-wise? Because everybody's blown away when you tell them, the size of your business, how many employees you've got. You've 21 employees now. How much time do you spend in the office every week?
I spend probably seven hours. I go in the office Monday to Friday for about 90 minutes per day. And what I do during that time is I check in with my COO and my other two managers, but we don't spend a lot of time. I meet 1 hour per week with my COO. So when I drive in, say from the cottage or from our home in town, I basically am going through my personal mail. I'm getting my newsletters, I'm getting my bills, I'm delegating that information where it needs to go. And then after about 60 minutes or 90 minutes, I realize that there's not really any reason for me to be there if it's not a meeting day. And that's all because of systems and procedures. The remainder of the time, I work about a 40-hour work week. So you take that, the other 33 hours are spent in the summer out at the cottage, weather permitting, on the end of the dock, reading or working on marketing, whatever. My job is to make the phone ring at McLean Insurance. I do two things. I make the phone ring and I sign the paychecks. And
you kick ass once in a while.
Yeah, and when systems and procedures aren't executed, then that's what happens. But and in the winter, we can be anywhere in the world. Krista and I like to travel once per month somewhere. And with the internet, I mean, it's just things continue to move along because of the systems and procedures.
So again, that's very important for you to hear. His whole focus now that he's got the system set up is, as he says, to make the phones ring. It's all about marketing. Michael is a phenomenal marketer. Won Marketer of the Year with Glazer Kennedy a couple of years ago, which is that's as high as you can get as far as I'm concerned, because sharp people there. So yeah, it's getting the phone to ring, and you're always looking for different new ways to do that, and you are definitely getting the phone ringing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always say, Dave, there's two types of marketing, inside and outside, and everybody wants to start with outside marketing, which is getting those phones ringing, getting people to visit your website. But if you don't have your systems and procedures, which I call inside marketing, together, that's the first step. And I call systems and procedures the blocking and tackling of business. It's the stuff that's maybe not the most sexy, or it's maybe not the most exciting, but before you send out that exciting flyer that's going to make the phones ring, you've got to have systems and procedures inside so that you maximize those. When some of my students say to me, well, I sent out that flyer and that did not work, I'm sitting there saying, my next question is, who's answering the phone?
Right.
How are they answering the phone? And I mean, that's along the lines of what you're always teaching. But there is the two things, inside and outside, but inside comes first.
Very good. Well, that's your business breakthrough for today, getting your systems in place. This gentleman definitely knows what he's talking about when it comes to systems. Done wonderful things for him and for his business. So look into it. The best place to start, eMyth. Would you recommend that as a good place to get started?
Yeah, eMyth. We just took that book and we just took it to heart. I mean, we had each person in our office at the time document 2 simple systems. So our receptionist did 2 systems per week and documented them, and our service people did 2. Just daily things that they're doing. And then we sat down at the end of the week for less than an hour and put together, okay, this is now how we do it from this point forward. This is how we answer the phone from now on. This is how we do this particular system. And then it's a fun team building thing, and it's all about the best way, not necessarily my way.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to talk about our real estate tip for the day, and really interesting. You'll see some clips of the property that I went out and looked at with Michael this morning and his father-in-law Al. Beautiful, beautiful recreational property in the Rideau Lakes, is that how I pronounce it?
Yeah, on the Rideau system, the system that runs from the north to the south in North America, so all the way from Florida all the way through. So one of the most popular bodies of water around this area.
So Michael's very interested in this property, and there are actually 3 potential rental units on the property. The primary cottage, the oldest building on the property, a secondary cottage, then a boathouse that fits 2 boats below and has a little rental unit up above as well. So tell us a little bit about what appeals to you about this property.
The number one thing that appeals to me is location. Very, very difficult to find a piece of property which is, I mean, less than 10 minutes away from where we are right now. Its location, its convenience, it's 15 minutes to the town of Perth, it's 20 minutes to the town of Smith Falls. So for me, Dave, the number one thing that piqued my interest was location, not having to drive 2 hours to visit the cottage on the weekend. So somebody like myself who was purchasing this, and when I'm thinking of resell down the road, I'm thinking of here's a property that's in a prime location.
Exactly. So we were looking at the property, and I got a good idea of what Michael's looking to do. So he's not really looking for cash flow out of this property, because we did a real basic analysis, and it looks like he'll actually probably be close to $10,000 to $15,000 a year negative when you take into account the mortgage payments and taxes, insurance, and upkeep, and that sort of thing. But he's betting on appreciation. So he's doing a little bit of speculation, but you're okay with that. Why do you think? What's your gut feeling, and why do you think it's going to appreciate significantly over the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, I'm betting on water, and I'm betting on location. I'm looking at that and saying, okay, that's the very best waterway to be on in this region. So it's almost a kind of, I would be a little more reluctant if I was on a lake that was further away. So even though it's expensive property out there, just because of the location and what we've seen happen with waterfront here, like in our cottage sitting here, we purchased this 3-4 years ago. And it just seems to be one of the things that sustains no matter what the economy's like. So I'm betting on water and location.
Exactly. So Michael's situation is different than a lot of ours, a lot of real estate investors. He can subsidize the property for 3 to 5 years without much problem. In fact, knowing this guy and his marketing and his coaching group and whatnot, I can see him monetizing that property several different ways, getting groups out there, doing special events and that sort of thing. So it'll be a lot of fun. But he's going into it knowing that he's going to have to come out of pocket every month or every year, $10,000, $15,000. He's okay with that. We took a look. I mean, you've seen some clips of the property. We're looking at $550,000 for that property, which in my area of BC, that's just unheard of. There's no way you could get a property like that anywhere near that price.
Yeah, I mean, and reading an article in the Globe and Mail the other day about people from Toronto is 4 hours away, are now purchasing cottages in this region. So people are willing to travel on a Friday up to 4 hours, even 5 hours now. So I just see that, Dave, as 5 years, in chunks of 5 years. In 5 years, let's see where it's at. I just have a gut feeling, which is very important in business, that could be 25 or 20% higher in value without us having to do much in the next 5 years.
I think you're probably right, and as long as you're going into it with the idea that you understand you're going to have to subsidize it and you're okay with it, that's cool. Because again, we talked about the 6 or 7, depending on how you count it, profit centers in real estate. It's going to be missing a couple of those. The cash flow is going to be negative for a while. However, between appreciation, mortgage pay down, maybe some slight improvements on the property, he's definitely going to be able to make some good money, I think, on that property. So that's your real estate tip for today, is know exactly what you're getting into, know what your exit strategy is, and have the plan before you go in. So yeah, Michael's got some experience with real estate investing. You also have a duplex, you've got your commercial building, you got your own personal home, this home, several different things. So he's not a brand new newbie into real estate investing either.
No, what served me well has been my instinct and my gut when I saw a place. It was like when we visited this place 3-4 years ago. It's just, I can see myself living there. And the same with our property in town. And having your, I'm in the insurance business, so I'm always looking. And it's not many properties that excite me. So it's almost a thing like visualization, Dave, where you're sitting there going and saying, I could see myself owning that. I could see myself living there. And 9 out of 10 properties, I can't see that, and I take a pass on. But the one that we talked about today and visited is one of those ones where I can see myself as part of that.
Nice. Very good. So that's your real estate tip for this week. All right, we're back again. Now it's time for our Mindset Minute this week. And Michael, what I'd like to talk to you about is positioning yourself as the expert in your field. So you're not a long-time insurance guy. You got into this relatively recently. You had a completely different background. Got into the family business, had to learn it from scratch very, very quickly. But you are now perceived, not just in the town of Perth, but all of the surrounding communities. Mm-hmm. And working into Toronto now, mm-hmm. you are perceived as the no BS insurance guy. So tell us a little bit about positioning yourself and what that has meant to you and your company.
Well, positioning is the exact word. Positioning, not prospecting. I'm not interested in chasing business. We all know what happens when you chase business. It's poor positioning. So I was trained a long time ago, and it's exactly what you teach your students. It's about positioning instead of prospecting. It makes business enjoyable. I'm not looking to be into cold calling and telemarketing and all these things. I'm trying to position myself as three things, and that is the most respected and the most referred and the most known insurance agent. And I did the same thing when I was in the hockey business. Is basically you have to have the courage, the guts, whatever you want to call it, to say, hey, I'm not going to hang around in this business for 50 years until I say, okay, I'm the best. What you're doing is you're positioning yourself with, and we're writing a book this weekend, like things like that matter. Our television ads matter, but you're positioning yourself as a real live person. And in our business, Dave, like they're trying to make insurance a commodity, and they're trying to push us into that box. And at our agency, I just refuse to be pushed into that. Given the choice, people want to do business with somebody that they know, like, and can relate to. And if you notice in all of our marketing in terms of McLean Insurance, I'm the chief spokesperson for the entire organization. So when people say, who are you insured with? The correct answer that we're looking for is I'm insured with Michael McLean, or I'm insured with McLean Insurance, not any company name. So that's what our positioning has been. But since day one, even though I had very little insurance knowledge or expertise whatsoever, we positioned ourselves as, hey, that's the insurance guy. And they're going to work harder for us. They're going to do a better job for us. And we're constantly out there asking people for the opportunity to earn their business.
And you've done a phenomenal job at it. So we just wrapped up a couple of days working on your book, Michael. So
right.
I'm excited about that. I know you are too. How do you see that working for you to increase your authority, credibility, your positioning in the community?
Well, I mean, you're probably the expert in that area and can understand the power that book brings more than anyone else. But it just takes us at whatever level we're at, and it just takes us to that next level. I don't know if there's anything else that can add more credibility than being a published author in your specific specialized knowledge area. Special knowledge, that's very important. So, I mean, I'm excited about making that book part of all the other marketing we do. So it's not going to cost us a lot of money, because we were discussing this on the weekend when we were writing the book about now this can be a part of all of our newsletters.
Exactly.
My new book can be a part of my television ads, my radio ads, all kinds of direct mail pieces. So it's going to be a carry-on, but I believe, and I mean, you're proof positive of this, I think that it's going to do more for our business in terms of the next level. We're not a commodity. We're a real live organization. I think that that's going to be probably the biggest impact of anything we've tested in the last 7 years.
I think it's going to be huge as well. And you might be asking yourself, okay, Michael's the insurance guy, the no BS insurance guy. How the hell do we make insurance exciting? So what we did in this case was we went kind of an indirect route, and we're positioning Michael as an expert in identity theft and the insurance against getting your identity stolen. So that's how we kind of we entered the conversation in his prospect's mind, because that's a huge topic. You've got a lot of older people who are your prospects. They're very, very concerned about this. So that's the angle we're going at. We're not talking about, here's 87 tips on insuring yourselves, because nobody really cares that much about that. But
right.
Identity theft, they're very, very concerned about it. It'll make it a hot topic. It'll make it exciting. I'm sure you're going to get a ton of free publicity about this book as well. Lots of radio, TV, morning show type interviews, that sort of thing, if you'd like to do that as well.
Yeah, it's like you always say. I mean, it's what you do after the fact. It's not the book. If the book sits on a shelf or in a box, there's no power to that. So it's also what we do. We're going to be sending that to our company reps, to our best clients, to our prospects, using it as a gift with purchase and little things like that. But I mean, I tell my coaching group all the time, and I know that you adhere to that, is what business are we really in? And I'm not in the insurance business. I'm in the relationship business. And it doesn't matter what business I'm in the relationship business, because we're dealing with people. And I think that that's a huge advantage right now, and this book is going to be part of that, is in this new economy, a much different, much more difficult economy. It's more important than ever to say, hey, I'm a real live person, and give people that opportunity to get to know you. And that book is going to be a big part of that for us.
It is. Well, Michael, it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate the invite out here to Audie Lake. It's been a blast. I apologize for wrecking your hot tub, but other than that...
Well, I mean, the internet's still working. I mean, your expert here actually went up the internet tower the other day. He likes to climb towers, apparently, but Other than the hot tub, not too much damage. And if we do buy that property in Rita Ferry, we'll invite you back probably sometime in the next decade.
Sounds good, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Canadian Profits TV from the end of the dock at Audie Lake. It was a lot of fun filming it, that's for sure. Now, if you're interested in promoting yourself, your business, or your real estate investing via web video, then I highly recommend that you sign up for an upcoming webinar that I'm going to be putting on, an online event with my good friend and online video expert, Charlie McDermott. So that's going to be this August the 9th. That's a Tuesday, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific. And you can click on the link below this video or visit www.canadianprofitswebinar.com to sign up right away. Thanks a lot. Talk to you next week.